Hello and welcome to Crafter Productions. Today we're going to be going over the top 10 locations that should be named in Fortnite. So there's a bunch of locations in Fortnite, even Salty and Retail weren't named when the game first came out. So many locations aren't named still, and I think they deserve to be named. So here are the top 10 locations that should be named. Let's get into it. So first up, we have the desert dump. If you know the junction in the desert, this is the top 10. We're gonna start off low and build ourselves up. Desert dump is sort of our starting point. It only has 5 or 6 chest spawns, so it's not that good. But we can still use it to get a ton of metal. Next up, we're also gonna have a little low here. The house with the sled. It's right next to the bridge actually, and south of Tilted. And it has a sled, a wooden giant sled. And that house is kinda good, because the house itself have 2 chests, and the entire area itself is a ton of floor loot, and the sled's a chest. So it's only 3 chests, but the floor loot is really good there. Next up, we actually have the motel. It's a 6 chest spawn, I believe. So it's really good for landing there if you're solo, and adding the houses on the side makes it even better, like a 10 chest spawn. So I really recommend that you put that into a route or something, because the motel is a really good area. Next up, I want to go over the dirt racetrack, which is where the soccer stadium used to be, and it's right next to Junction. It's been getting better, it's been progressing over the last little bit, but as a main house and some quads. It's not that great, but again, you gotta have somewhere to start. Okay, this is where it starts getting better, guys. So our number 5th spot, we have the soccer stadium. Now, the reason why I have this in here is it's the soccer stadium, it's south of Tilted. You probably know what I mean. It's east of the villain base. But that soccer stadium area is pretty good. The entire area has a good amount of chest spawns, and it's pretty good, I must say. Next up, coming in at number 4, we have the snow factories. Now, these snow factories, one of the buildings was taken away by the ice storm or iceberg when it came to the land, but still remains a really good spot. No one really lands there anymore, but it's really good. It's like the Salty factories, knockoff pretty much, and I think it's pretty good. Okay, so that was number 5. This is number 4. The racetrack in the desert, which was dirt for up until season 5. Season 5, when a rift came in, it got turned into a full-on racetrack, and it's pretty good. It has a ton of chests in the building, and you can get quads there. I don't think you can get ATKs there anymore for some reason, but it still remains a pretty good area. Coming in at number 3 spot, I have Frozen Greasy Grove. Now, the reason why this is coming in at number 3 is because all of the houses have at least 1 chest spawn. The actual main building has the fishing shop has 2 and a bunch of floor loot, and there's also a truck frozen there has another chest, and all the icebergs on top of it have chests. So it's actually a really good spot to land, but it's kind of open, which is the downside of it, but it's still pretty good. Normally I go through there if I need some extra loot, because no one really goes there, and it has a ton of chests. Okay, coming up at our 2nd spot is actually going to be containers. This has been a fan favorite for a long time. It's to the southwest of Wailing Woods, and everyone's really loved it. With all the metal containers, you can easily go out of there with max metal, and it has a ton of chest spawns in between the crates. You're just gonna walk out there's a lot of mats, a lot of loot. It's not necessarily good for squads though, because that's what this next location is about. So before we go into number 1, I want to do 2 things. make sure you like this video and turn and subscribe with notifications on to make sure you never miss another video for Crafted Productions. We upload news and other random Fortnite videos. Now let's get into the honorable mentions. So first of all, I want to get into the villain base area, because in the Fortnite snow map, they make it look like its own separate area. The villain base, I land there all the time, pretty much almost every other game. And it's really, really good. It has a ton of loot. And the area beside of it also has a ton of loot and a ton of mats. So I think that area should maybe be named, but it's just the fact that it's kind of separate each other with the mountain. Next, I want to go over the block farm. Next to the block to the east of it, there's a little farm there. It can spawn a plane as a silo and as a house and this little barn thing. I also land there all the time. I land on this ice cream truck, and then I go to this hut at the end of the map, and I take a rift from the nom signs, which also has chests, and then I go to the block farm, and I can escape there with the plane they have. So it's a really good route, I just said, but specifically the block farm, I've already seen normally at least one person goes there with you. So if you would fighting, maybe that's for you. But with my route, I usually take him out because I land on the ice cream truck, which is only a little bit ways away. Anyways, block farm, pretty good. Next one I want to go over for the honorable mentions is the Tomato Town Bridge. It's honestly not that bad. I believe it has 3 chest spawns, but it's just the fact that it's really hard to get to. It's right next to Tomato Town, so you could be seeing some fighting. Next up, we actually have both bridges. The bridge that goes from around Shifty and I went over the house and sled. It goes from there to the house with the hill on it near Fatal. And I also want to talk about the Lucky Landing Bridge. They're both pretty good if you combine both of them, but that's the entire river area, so that's why it's on honorable mentions. Next, the last honorable mention I want to go over is the mountain that had the house to the west of Fatal. So this mountain, I land on it again half of games, and it's pretty good. It can spawn 3 chests on the side of the mountain with the car crash, and it had during season 4 it had even more. Season 3 even more than that because of all the meteor telescopes. So that area is super good. You can easily make a route to Fatal or bend around the side to get the chest on the side to then go to the house that was partly eaten up by when Kevin the Cube came, and then you can go to Salty. So that's what I do whenever I land there. I'm gonna finish up all the kills in Salty. I think it's a pretty good area to land, and it's not bad at all. And it's still made on an honorable mentions list. Okay, guys. So coming in at the last spot, number 1 spot for the location that should be named. The number 1 location that should be named, and they better do this, is the Mexican Village. So I kind of want to explain this a bit because you may be like, what is the Mexican Village and why is it so good? So Mexican Village is the south of the map in the desert. Here's a picture of it actually. And the Mexican Village, I see streamers in there all the time. I see Ninja, Tifu. It's a super good area for squads even. It has tons and tons of loot, tons of mats if you break the buildings. Overall, it's just what you need in a named location. It wouldn't even be the smallest because as the racetrack was bigger than 50% of the named locations, it is not named. So there's a lot of not named locations that are bigger than the actual named ones. So I think the number 1 spot has to be Mexican Village because it's just really good. You can't beat it. It's just the all-around great spot to land. It's not named, which is kind of an advantage because you may have less people going there, but maybe you're a streamer who wants action. But it's just such a great spot. Sometimes I land there, whenever I go there for challenges, it's just amazing. I always get really lucky. Somehow I found 4 loot scars. It's just a great spot. There's so much loot there, even for your squad. If it's a solo, you're probably gonna win that game. So, guys, that was our list of the top 10 plus 5 honorable mentions that should be named. Now, if you like this, obviously leave a like on this video so I can continue making more of these. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you next time on Crafter Productions. Bye.